From Neural Newscast, this is Prime Cyber Insights, intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision makers.
Welcome to the briefing room for Prime Cyber Insights. Today's April 30th, 2026. We're diving straight into the technical landscape to look at emerging threats and the shifting economics of vulnerability research.
Thanks, Aaron. We are closely tracking a critical vulnerability in the DotNetNuke CMS, identified as 2026 Cape Verde Escudos 40,321. This flaw impacts over 750,000 websites globally. The attack chain is notably elegant in its simplicity, utilizing malicious SVG files that contained embedded JavaScript code. Because the DotNetNuke filters failed to prevent these uploads to user-accessible directories, a single interaction from an administrator, viewing what appears to be a harmless image, can trigger a full-scale server takeover.
The escalation path is the primary concern here, Lauren. Once that initial cross-site scripting payload executes, the attacker utilizes an authenticated endpoint, specifically the configuration console, to write an ASPX web shell directly to the host file system. This establishes a persistent backdoor. Because the malicious activity is routed through legitimate browser features and authenticated requests, it frequently bypasses standard antivirus detection. We're seeing a similar reliance on dormant trust with the Quick Page Post Redirect plugin for WordPress. That tool with 70,000 active installations contained a hidden backdoor for 5 years that enabled arbitrary code injection via a third-party domain.
The common thread, Aaron, is the abuse of trust in legitimate infrastructure. We're seeing this reach deep into the enterprise development layer. SAP recently confirmed that 4 of its official NPM packages, including those for SQLite and Postgres support, were compromised in a supply chain attack by TeamPCP. The malicious pre-install scripts didn't just steal NPM and GitHub tokens, or SSH keys. They were observed extracting secrets directly from the memory of CI/CD runners. It follows the same operational signature we saw in the Bitwarden and Checkmarks incidents earlier this year.
It's a highly effective engine for credential harvesting. Regarding stealthy data theft, researchers at SecureOnyx recently detailed a Python-based backdoor they've named DEEP-D-O-O-R. This framework utilizes a Rust-based tunneling service called Bohr to establish command and control. By embedding the payload directly in the dropper and leveraging a public tunneling service, the attackers eliminate the need for their own dedicated infrastructure. This makes traditional network-level detection nearly impossible while they target everything from local browser credentials to cloud access keys for AWS and Azure.
While the threats are evolving, so is the defensive side of the equation, Aaron. The most significant story this week is the role of AI in scaling vulnerability research. IOL used an AI-powered analyzer to scan the OpenEMR codebase, which is used by 100,000 healthcare providers. In just a 3-month window, the AI identified 38 previously undisclosed vulnerabilities, including critical SQL injection flaws that could have exposed sensitive patient health information. For context, a manual audit conducted in 2018 took significantly longer and only uncovered 23 issues. That highlights a total shift in the economics of bug hunting, Lauren. Wiz recently used an AI-powered reverse engineering tool to identify a high-severity remote code execution vulnerability in GitHub Enterprise Server, tracked as 2026 Cape Verde Escudos 3854. Their team had been auditing those compiled binaries since last September without success. With the AI tool, they moved from a conceptual idea to a working exploit in less than 48 hours. This effectively levels the playing field for researchers, but it also means the defensive window for patching is shrinking as discovery speeds up. And the consequences of being too slow to react are visible in the recent Asian Football Confederation breach. Over 150,000 members had sensitive data leaked, including passport scans and player contracts. While the threat actor attempted to leverage the shiny hunter's name for added credibility, the data itself is real and presents a massive fraud risk for high-earning athletes. It's a stark reminder that even as we talk about sophisticated AI tools, the end goal for many remains simple data exfiltration and financial crime.
The practitioner takeaway today is that the lifecycle of a vulnerability is accelerating. Whether it is DNN administrators disabling anonymous uploads or developers auditing their NPM dependencies, the reliance on automated security controls must be paired with a proactive review of user registration and file handling policies. The tools are getting faster, Lauren, but the fundamentals of risk management remain consistent.
For everyone managing these environments, Prioritize the DNN patches and review your supply chain exposure immediately. Detailed analysis is available at pci.neuralnewscast.com. This briefing is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Prime Cyber Insights on Neural Newscast. Intelligence for defenders, leaders, and decision makers.